Hi, my name is Ben Durham, and I am a lawyer in Las Vegas. And today I'm going to answer some of the most searched questions about lawyers on Google. Number one, do lawyers have braces? Yes, some of them are.
That was good.
Okay. Are lawyers doctors? Technically, yes. When you graduate from law school, you do receive a Juris Doctorate degree. However, lawyers are not performing surgeries or checking on people's health and wellness. So I guess technically lawyers are doctors, but not in the traditional sense of being a medical doctor.
Could someone technically call you doctor? Or is that
Somebody, if you're a lawyer and you're asking somebody to call you a doctor, you are probably an egotistical douchebag. When you graduate from law school, you are given the title of Juris Doctor, which is JD, are the initials. However, I don't know any attorneys that prefer to be referred to as a doctor. So no. Are lawyers rich? Why is that funny? There's a perception probably on TV that lawyers are rich, that all lawyers are rich. I would say being a lawyer is like any profession. There are some lawyers that are rich, some that are struggling because they have a ton of student loan debt from law school, plenty that are doing well, some lawyers that act like they're rich and maybe are not rich. I would say it's all over the place. Are lawyers and attorneys the same thing? Essentially, yes. Some people prefer to be called lawyers. Some prefer to be called attorneys because maybe lawyers has a negative connotation. People think lawyers are sleazy. Attorney sounds nicer. I don't know what the difference is, though, at the end of the day. Okay. Are lawyers allowed to lie? Lawyers are human beings, and so they inevitably lie. They're not supposed to lie to the court because we are an officer of the court. We are sworn to uphold the truth, to tell the truth, especially to the judge. And so lawyers in a professional capacity should never lie. Can lawyers have tattoos? Yes, there is nothing that prevents a lawyer from having a tattoo. I have several tattoos myself. Can lawyers represent themselves? There is a sort of well-known saying that a lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. Yes, they can represent themselves. It's not advisable, just like it's not advisable for most people to represent themselves. It's always better to have someone else represent you, another attorney. Can lawyers do jury duty? Can lawyers do jury duty? Can lawyers participate as a juror in a trial? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I even know a judge or two who have been selected to sit on a jury. Can lawyers date their clients? The rule is that if the lawyer has in a dating relationship before that person becomes a client, then that's okay. You're not supposed to date a client after they have become a client. Then if they're no longer a client, then I would assume it's okay.
You can't enter into a relationship.
While they're a client, you cannot enter into a relationship with them. I guess you can call it the prior dating doctrine. If you're already dating and then they become a client, that might be a little complicated, but that would be okay. Yeah. Can lawyers practice in any state? No. You have to be licensed in each particular state. In some states, you have to take their bar exam. In other states, you can become licensed or get a license based on the fact that you're licensed in a different state. So there's reciprocity, but you would still have to apply and get a license there. You can practice on a case-by-case basis. So, for example, if I'm licensed in Nevada, I want to take a case in Montana, I can apply to the Montana State Bar to be allowed to practice on that specific case, but I would also have to associate with a local Montana attorney in order to be able to do that. I am licensed in Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. I passed the bar exam in Nevada and Utah, and Arizona allowed me to get my license based on the fact that I was licensed in Utah. Do I plan on getting licensed in any more states? Not really. Three's enough. Why are lawyers important? Why do lawyers think they're important? Some seem to think they're more important than the average person. But I would say that lawyers are important in the sense that they really are an integral part of our legal system. Lawyers become judges. And so lawyers are important to make sure that the laws are followed, that people's rights are protected, and that quote unquote justice is done. Yeah, I mean, lawyers are important because they went to a lot of school to study the law, and somebody needs to be able to understand it and explain it. Why are lawyers expensive? Good question. They need a fancy car, nice clothes, big house. No, lawyers can be expensive. Not all lawyers are expensive, but generally lawyers are trading their time for money, and their time is valuable. They're spending their time on important cases that can affect people's lives, livelihood, freedom. And so every lawyer values their time differently. Some are extremely expensive and some are more affordable. A lot of lawyers have expensive habits. Lawyers have a lot of student loans like everybody else, but also at the end of the day, for many lawyers, being a lawyer is running a business. And so you have to account for all the costs that are associated with running your business and at the same time trying to still make a profit. Why are lawyers called Esquire? I don't really know the correct answer to that. I know that back in the old days in Britain, I believe it derived from squire. It was some sort of term of nobility. And so probably because lawyers think highly of themselves, they decided they deserved some noble title at the end of their name. In my personal opinion, I think it's dumb when lawyers use Esquire at the end of their name.
Why are lawyers so unhappy?
Why are lawyers so unhappy? It can be a tough profession. You're working long hours. You are representing people that are in difficult situations in their lives. A lot of people are counting on you, and it can create a lot of stress in your job, and that can spill over into your personal life. So I would say the hours are long, the work is tough, it can be stressful. I don't think that all lawyers are unhappy, but there's certainly a large percentage that probably are. Or yeah, there's at least a public perception that lawyers can be unhappy. Why do lawyers wear suits? I guess to look nice in court. Most courtrooms require that you dress appropriately. Most judges want you to wear a tie, at least to court. And you're a professional, so you're there to usually represent someone else, and you need to look professional and look the part. I do know lawyers that wear jeans and white tennis shoes to court. That probably wouldn't fly with all the judges, but most lawyers, I think, at least tend to try to look presentable when they go to court. Just like you would tell your client who's going to court to dress like they're going for a job interview or some other important event. You want to look, you want to take it seriously and dress like it's a serious matter. Why do lawyers do pro bono? Pro bono is basically doing legal work for free and not getting paid. It's a service to the community. There are a lot of people that can't afford attorneys. The attorney's too expensive. And there are agencies as well that offer free legal services. We're encouraged as lawyers to give back to the community, to provide people with a service that they wouldn't otherwise be able to provide for. Why do lawyers wear wigs? Some lawyers wear wigs because they're bald and I guess they don't want they need a hairpiece. I don't know. Lawyers, I believe in Britain, lawyers still wear wigs. My understanding is that it's just a way for them to, kind of like a uniform, I guess, for them to wear a wig. We do not do that in the United States. I'm not sure if they do that in Canada, but I'm sure it's a tradition that goes back, many, many years. Why do lawyers drag out cases? Sometimes it can be a tactical decision. Many times you need enough time to prepare if you're going to trial to defend your client. Many times in a civil lawsuit where people are fighting over money or someone's been injured, the process and procedures tend to be drawn out just as they are. The schedules tend to go on for several years. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to take a case to trial. Another reason why lawyers drag out cases, sometimes they're still trying to get paid. So, that's a real reason as well. I think some lawyers drag cases out to make sure their client pays them. The camera adds like 20 pounds, huh? I had a case years ago where my client was accused of basically being a pimp. And he swore 100% he was not a pimp. He was not guilty. And when I was talking to him, I noticed that on these 4 fingers, he had tattooed P-I-M-P, pimp. So, yeah, I think we ended up negotiating that case.
The judge was like,
Yeah, I was like, put your hand in your pocket. Put your hand in your pocket. Why do lawyers drink so much? They're stressed. Why are lawyers so pessimistic? You're dealing with people's problems all day long that can tend to bring you down. Why do lawyers have gas? Are lawyers allowed to fart in court? What is a lawyer's weakness? Anyone can be a judge. And I mean anyone. Do lawyers ride horses to work?